I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, March the 13th, brought to you in part by Legacy Beef Cooperative. That is tied to the Cattlemen's Heritage Beef plant that's being built near Council Bluffs, Iowa. On Wednesday, I recorded an interview with James Timmerman, who is now with Legacy Beef Cooperative, and he was telling me about their stages of investment. They are now in their third of 5 stages of investment, and they are selling slaughter spots there. They're $10 a head. Your minimum is normally around 40 head, 40 slots there, so you could bring a load of fed cattle to that plant for harvest. There's not a maximum on that, so you want to get in and do that if you're looking for a place to sell your fat cattle and have the price being based off of the box beef cutout values. But for more information, go to legacybeefcoop.com. Also, Enid Livestock Market in Enid, Oklahoma. That's Dakota Davis there. They're estimating about 3,000 head of feeders for their sale today here on Thursday in Enid, Oklahoma. They've got a lot of cattle coming in off the wheat. They're going to be selling cows starting at 9 o'clock in the morning and feeders at noon. Got a big consignment from Jerry Evans, be 525 head of black steers coming from him. They're mostly northern South Dakota origin, and they'll be really nice and be good for either turning back out or taking to feed. They're going to have 377 steers in one shot there, going to be weighing in the light 7s, and like I said, they'll be good to turn back out or go right to the feedlot. And then 115 steers in one shot. Also, Jerry's weighing in the light 6s. They'll have 10 more loads of steers weighing from 700 to 900 pounds and 10 loads of feeder heifers weighing from 6 to 850. So don't miss that sale. It's on DVAuction.com. Enid Livestock Market in Enid, Oklahoma. The voice of the cattle industry. And I might have to toot my own horn or pat myself on the back because nobody else is going to do it, I guess. We've recently hit some goals here with NationalBeefWire and with the feeder flash. But NationalBeefWire puts out the daily e-newsletter there. It's a email to over 200,000 subscribers now, and it includes this video and a lot of other industry news and market information there, and it's free, but we are by far the biggest cattle news and information outfit that is sending out information like that. And then also on the feeder flash, of course, we're getting all that from the NationalBeefWire, but we have recently surpassed 20,000 subscribers on YouTube also. So a lot of people watching this report, a lot of people looking at NationalBeefWire.com, and you know, the amount of people or the percentage of people that are opening those emails and reading them is by far the best in the industry. So people that are watching this report, the people that are going to NationalBeefWire.com, they are on top of the market. They know what's going on in the industry news, and they're fully informed. Nobody reads publications anymore with information that's a week old, and they're as volatile as things are now. You know, this market's been every which direction but loose since they wrote that, and then it takes forever to get to you. So you guys are finding the best and the most timely market information you can find anywhere, and I'm humbled by the following we have here, and I appreciate every one of you for tuning in. We've got all-time record highs broken again on Wednesday. In fact, we saw some of the highest and probably an all-time high for 7-weight steers nationwide. As a whole, your market was just so good on 7 weights. Of course, you got 2 ways to go with them, either taking them, getting them ready for grass, maybe going to graze out wheat, or going to the feedlot. So a lot of people banging on those, and the highest prices we've ever seen on 7-weight steers in particular there. But just a really good feeder market. Of course, your calves are out of sight, especially if they've got condition to go turn right out and they're weaned and had all their shots and everything. The fed cattle industry has a chance to gain big ground this week. Now, they haven't bought hardly any cattle direct negotiated cash this week. They're trying to hold back, but I tell you what, the cattle feeders that have cattle in loose hands, they are not blinking. They're asking a lot more money for these cattle, especially in the northern plains where they have some leverage. Most of them still asking $210 for these cattle, live basis, guys. And they did get some cattle from one big outfit in Kansas at $2. Now that's $2, maybe $3 better than last week, but still they can get more than that. And I don't think the Southern Plains is going to sell enough cattle because there's not enough cattle for sale in a direct negotiated manner to bother the Northern Plains. But the Northern Plains guys are not wanting the Southern Plains to give in and set that market at a lower base because they're planning on gaining big ground this week because we know how short bought the Packers are. It hasn't been that long since Friday whenever they made that abrupt change and put all that money on the market. And then this week they've had higher box beef cutout values and they've become much more aggressive on the slaughter. And so they've gotten a lot of orders for dressed beef, and they've got to fill those orders, and they've got to have carcasses hanging in those plants to get that done, guys. I want to tell you about a rancher that called me there last week and was telling me about an issue that's going on in New Mexico. And I'm asking if are American ranch lands just a wasteland in New Mexico? So we're thinking maybe that could be. There's ranchers all across eastern New Mexico, from top to bottom, even going up into Colorado there, that have recently gotten a letter or been summoned by the U.S. Department of Energy that they have designated their ranch land, a substantial portion of their ranch land, and they're saying that this for the southwestern grid connector of national interest transmission corridor. Now that's a mouthful, isn't it? Has anybody ever heard of anything like that? And they're not just saying, hey, we're going to go across your land with some power lines. No, they're going to claim that land by eminent domain 3 to 15 miles wide. I mean, it's taken some ranchers completely out, and they're just claiming that land there. We've got, we're losing enough places to run cows already, and it takes a lot of acres to run cows in eastern New Mexico. I grew up there. I knew what it's like. But, going through the towns like Clayton, New Mexico, if this comes through there where they're wanting to do this, it will wipe Clayton, New Mexico out. And Clayton, New Mexico looks about wiped out compared to what it was when I was a kid there, but I hate to see it happen any worse. But it's kind of curious the way that they're doing that. There's been power lines go across ranches, since they discovered electricity. Hasn't been that big a deal. Why are they having to claim that with eminent domain? And then if you look at where those lines are supposedly going, they pass over in connection with several nuclear waste dumps. So it's got some people thinking they're going to be pushing some pretty toxic stuff maybe through us or close to our ranches, and people are not excited about it. And I guess if it has to be done. Be honest with us. Tell us what's going on, and tell us what the risks are. But that is an issue that is affecting ranchers in eastern New Mexico. The New Mexico Cattle Growers Association are aware of it, and they are working on that. They've had a series of meetings in those small towns in eastern New Mexico trying to address that. But and they've had some comment periods and things like that, but it just seems like it all falls on deaf ears. But I thought I would talk a little bit about it on the Feeder Flash and bring it to some more people's attention. And if you people know of anything that can be done on that or any explanation, I wish you would get it to the sources that need it. But it's kind of a rough deal there, and it could take a lot of ranchers out there in eastern New Mexico, and I hate to see that. I want to talk about a sale that's coming up here this Friday. I'm going to be there. It's the Felton Angus Ranch production sale there, and it's going to be on Friday, March the 14th at 1 o'clock Mountain or 2 o'clock Central. Those are the same, but he's got 100 head of the best Angus bulls that he's ever offered, and I mean some big, long, rugged, athletic bulls that are going to be with you for a long, long time on your outfit, guys. They've got good feet and legs. They're rugged, tough bulls, and those are the kind you really need, especially in that rugged country there up through your mountain states. Most of those bulls will be pap tested, kind of tell you how they'll handle the altitude there. He's going to have 80 head of Felton Angus sired replacement heifers, and another 12 or 15 head of F1 Baldies there on that sale. It's going to be on DVAuction this Friday, March the 14th at 1 o'clock Mountain or 2 o'clock Central. Be sure and check that out. Let's talk about your board on Wednesday. April live cattle futures saw big gains, up 185 at 201.40. June was up 162 at 197.87. Your back months were all up big from $1.07 to $1.62. Look at your feeder cattle for March. They were up 275 on Wednesday at 280.25. April up 302 at 280.72, and your back months up 277 to 292. May corn was down 9.5 cents a bushel at 460.75. Your beans down 10.75 cents a bushel at $10.50. And your hard red winter wheat for May up 1 cent a bushel there at 573. Talk about your fed cattle trade, direct basis, negotiated cash in your 5-area feeding region, hardly anything. Iowa sold a couple of hundred head mixed bag cattle, steer and heifer mixed bins, which are usually not the best, at 198, so that's not the market at all. Nebraska has not traded a hoof. Kansas, I told you earlier, sold 700 head at $2 live, and that's a couple, maybe $3 higher, but still I think we can get more than that. And the Northern Plains guys that have the really good cattle, they are holding out for more money and looking to gain some big ground here this week in the fed cattle arena. Of course, Texas has not sold a hoof yet. We had some fat cattle auctions. They've all been sharply higher. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota had 1,600 head of slaughter cattle, including 19 straight loads of fed cattle. That's pretty impressive there for Sioux Falls Regional Livestock. Their conventional cattle, just straight up fat, sold from 203.5 to 207. And program cattle, non-implanted or drug-free, sold up to 213. This is kind of what we're thinking the market ought to be. How about Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota? They had 1,250 head of slaughter cattle, including all classes there. Conventional fed cattle in Watertown, South Dakota bring 196 to 202. They were $3 to $4 higher than last week, with program cattle selling from 201 to 205. They had big fat fed cows from 144 to 155. Box beef cutout values were kind of mixed, but fairly steady on Wednesday. Choice cuts were down 10 cents at 321.10. Selects were up 67 cents at 307.53. Your slaughter continues aggressive this week, and it kind of come out of nowhere. They absolutely slashed slaughter there for so long, and now all of a sudden they're needing product. Up through the first 3 days of the week, estimated cattle slaughter 362,000. That's 17,000 more than at this point last week, and 12,000 more than this point a year ago. That's pretty significant, guys. Talk about what else is going on. The Southeast Texas Independent Cattlemen's Association's 30th annual commercial bull and heifer sale is going to be this Saturday. Now, my buddy Chuck Kiker down there, that a member of that association and a leader in that association, he's a big part of this sale. They've got some good cattle down there. They've got a lot of those F1 Brayford tiger stripes there, if you're looking for that. They've got commercial bulls down there that are acclimated to that country. In South Texas, that's a whole different ball game down there, guys. But Saturday, March the 15th, this Saturday, going to be starting at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be in Beaumont, Texas. And you can go by the evening before and check out those cattle if you want to, or earlier that morning. But the sale is going to be on DVAuction.com, Southeast Texas Independent Cattlemen's Association's 30th annual commercial bull and heifer sale this Saturday, guys. Check it out. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index on DV Auction late in the day on Wednesday after your sales are all closed, sitting at 282.46, gaining another almost $3, up $2.98 compared to the end of trading there on Tuesday. So big gains, guys. Let's talk about your big sales on Wednesday. And actually, I want to tell you about a replacement sale that happened on Wednesday. It was, or maybe Tuesday, was Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota. They sell a pot load of 3-year-old bred cows for $4,000 a head. And that's pretty toppy, guys, for bred cows way up north there. I thought that was impressive. But your big feeder sales on Wednesday, OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, of course, the biggest on Wednesday, 8,900 head for their Tuesday and Wednesday calf and yearling sale. Market was sharply higher. Feeder steers selling 10 to 15, spots $20 higher. Think it didn't recover. Feeder heifers selling $15 to $20 higher straight up. Calves selling 10 to $20 higher. Look at the volatility in this market. How do you keep up if you don't have a place to find that, guys? Winter Livestock in Dodge City, Kansas had 6,400 head. Their market was steady to $10 higher also. So the markets are just going straight up here this week. I want to talk to you about Cherokee Sales Company in Cherokee, Oklahoma, a little bit of western Oklahoma there. They had over 6,500 head at their cattle auction on Wednesday, and they were your NationalBeefWire stick-out sale of the day. All your cattle selling sharply higher. Look at your best tested weights there out of Cherokee, Oklahoma. That 551 head of 6-weight steers averaged 670 pounds at 328.96. 380 head of 7 weights averaged 755 at 295.06. There were 790 head of 8-weight steers in Cherokee, Oklahoma. They averaged 839 at 276.40. And 1,216 head of 9-weight steers. Cherokee Sales Company averaged 932 pounds with a weighted average price of $261.72. How about the heifers? Best tested weights there. 808 head of 7-weight heifers averaged 764 at 263.96, and 1,074 head of 8-weight heifers in Cherokee, Oklahoma averaged 836 at 249.70. Big time sale there, guys. How about way out west there at Twin Falls Livestock Commission in Twin Falls, Idaho? They sell the Allen Thompson steers, 210 head of them, weighed 782 and bring 294. That's a big time quote. Quote that actually happened on Tuesday that I forgot to give you. How about Holton, Kansas Livestock Exchange? They sell 112 head of steers, weighed 877 on Tuesday, bring 277.10. Thought that was a big time quote. Big one on Wednesday in South Central Iowa was Creston Livestock Market in Creston, Iowa. They sell 70 steers, weigh 568 and bring 375. One way up in the upper Midwest there. How about Equity Co-op in Walk-On, Iowa there? They sell 107 steers on Wednesday, weigh 718 at 325. Big time quote there, farmer feeder area. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday, your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day, come out of Bloomfield, Iowa, Bloomfield Livestock Market. They sell 65 head of the Martin steers, weighed 870 pounds at $289.50. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.